talking to Dr. Aquino and his wife. You are a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army.
Correct.
Now, and how does the Army feel about you being head of the Temple of Set?
The Army has known about my religion for the entire span of my Army career, which began in 1968. And there was a reasonable amount of curiosity, as there has been all the way along, with what exactly is this strange and unusual thing. And I've talked about it in much the same way that I've talked here today on your show about it. Mm-hmm. And other than that, the Army has paid very little attention to it, the same as it would to anybody who was, say, a follower of Hinduism or of Buddhism or any other slightly unusual religion today.
So you just go about your Army duties and it's fine and
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I was a follower of the Satanist church in Chicago here. On Walpurgis Knox, I was the head acolyte for that specific ceremony. And at the end of it, we wound up murdering someone. And
a person?
Yes, ma'am. It wasn't anybody that I knew, and I reported it. But once I had reported it and decided that to quit the Satanist church, I started receiving threatening phone calls. People would come up to my door who I didn't know, and all they'd do is say, "Go back to the church," and then they'd walk away. They'd never give me their name or address or anything. I received threatening mail. My mail was opened. My little sister was harassed coming to and from school several times.
So what happened in the ritual where someone was murdered? And how were they murdered?
They were stabbed 7 times with knives because
in Chicago?
Yes. It was
what year?
About 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it was about 80, 81.
Mm-hmm.
And the ritual was a witch's Sabbath, and it got out of hand, and the high priest brought out these 7 daggers, and they impaled him in the form of a cross with the 7 daggers.
Was this person impaled against his or her will?
Yes.
Or did they wish to be sacrificed?
No, this was against his will. Mm-hmm. But
so how did you know you weren't going to be pulled in and impaled?
That's why that's one of the reasons why I got out of the church. And the other reason why I got out of the church was mentally I had a nervous breakdown after that, and I just mentally could not handle it.
How do you explain that?
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
Yes, sir.
And who was the grotto leader?
I don't remember his name.
You don't remember the name of a person who involved you in murder?
Not anymore, no.
Were you prosecuted?
Like I said, I had a nervous breakdown, and I have partial amnesia, specifically about that night. The only thing I can really remember about that night itself is that I walked in, I got my acolyte robes on, and the next thing I remember seeing was this guy laying on the table with 7 daggers sticking out of his chest.